Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. So we've had two like feely good thingamadoohickeys to start. Let's get into the suck, or at least the more unfun. Ex-policeman Derek Chauvin stabbed in prison. I'm sorry, I was not a fan of this man. After he killed George Floyd. But yeah, Minneapolis ex-police officer and murderer of and convicted murderer of George Floyd has been stabbed in Arizona prison. The New York Times, citing two people with knowledge of the situation, also reported he was attacked. He is serving multiple sentences for the death of George Floyd, a black man. Chauvin is a white man, obviously. This is on the reason why these signifiers are present is because this is from the BBC, and the BBC is English, and they suck. But yeah. The Bureau of Prisons confirmed in a statement that an inmate at a federal prison in the city of Tucson was stabbed at 12:30 local time on Friday. The agency said employees contained the incident and life-saving measures were performed on the inmate, who was taken to the hospital. Nobody else is thought to have been injured, and Chauvin is reported to have survived the attack. Quote from Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, quoted by CNN, confirmed that Chauvin had been stabbed and he was in stable condition. He said, "I am sad to hear that Derek Chauvin was a target of violence," Mr. Chauvin said to CNN in his office in a statement. "He was duly convicted of his crimes and, like any incarcerated individual, should be able to serve his sentence without fear of retaliation or violence." Sure. Reported incident comes days after the Supreme Court reject. This part's funny. The reported incident comes days after the Supreme Court rejected his appeal, in which it was argued that he had not received a fair trial in the killing of Mr. Floyd, who died after Chauvin knelt on his neck for more than 9 minutes in 2020. The killing in Minneapolis, captured on a bystander's phone camera, sparked global outrage and a wave of demonstrations against racial justice and police use of force. Chauvin was later found guilty of Mr. Floyd's murder and sentenced to 22 years in prison. He was given a further 20-year sentence in July of 2022 for violating Mr. Floyd's civil rights. There's two things I want to note here before we wrap up this article, or three things. One, if you want to read this article for yourself, again, it is going to be posted in the HIMedia Discord at discord.gg/HImedia. Second thing is Donald Trump is probably this is the defense that Donald Trump is probably going to use upon his conviction in many of the cases that he is currently getting nailed with, saying that there's no way that there could have been an objective jury, because of how poisoned everything is against him. The fact that the Supreme Court rejected this currently, on places like Fox News and Newsmax, has conservative commentators in a bit of a tizzy, because with the stacked Supreme Court, they would have presumed that a case like this with someone with like Chauvin, who is a right-wing darling, and a martyr to them, they would have thought that if they're not doing it for Chauvin, they're probably not going to do it for Trump. So this is a bit of foreshadowing, so to say. And third, I want to reread something that happened here. The killing in Minneapolis, captured on a bystander's phone camera, sparked global outrage and a wave of demonstrations against racial justice and police use of force. It took the entire world being mad about it, and multiple of America's allies making statements against this murder, and an entire summer of protest for one cop to go to prison for undue use of force. Plenty of cops murder people every day in this country, regardless of skin color, and it took the entire world to get one of them, or technically four of them, to go to prison. That's fucking nutty. And so when people ask me, "Hey, Evan, do you like police officers?" No, I'm sure there are some good ones, but Mm, 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 mm. I don't leave my house because I don't leave my house because the place where I live is a huge spot for my local PD to get lunch, and the less even though I am the picture of a police officer's favorite pedestrian, I don't want to risk shit. Mm-mm. So yeah, that's that. Mm-mm-mm.